Hello and welcome to another reading vlog in which I try and read down all of the 300 plus books on my TBR. So let's just go ahead and start this video off with my stats so far. That way at the end of the video we can see how much progress was really made this week, because I am determined to make this week a very good reading week and to make a lot of progress on my TBR. So starting out, I have 337 books on my TBR. Breaking that down, it's 118 ebooks, 116 audiobooks, and 103 physical books. I am in the middle of 4 books, which you would have saw at the end of last week's vlog, but I am reading Well Actually by Mazey Eddings and Onyx Storm, which is the audiobook that I'm listening to. So I am currently in the middle of 4 books. I am reading Beyond Policing and Jane Eyre. These are my 2 physical books that I'm currently reading. And then my ebook is Well Actually, and my audiobook is Onyx Storm. So all 4 of these books I'm going to try and finish this week. Jane Eyre is a bit of a stretch. I don't know if I'll actually finish that one. But I'm working a lot of later shifts this week for my job, which means I'll have more time to listen to my audiobook. So I have hope to make a lot of progress on my audio TBR. But yeah, those are the plans, the goals, the vibes for this week. I just really want to make a lot of progress, so I will update you when something else happens. Hello, so it has been a couple days and I have finished a couple books, so let's talk about them. First, I finished the audiobook of Onyx Storm, which was very disappointing. I really loved the first book. I liked the second one really well. I think I gave that one like 4.5 stars. It wasn't as great as the first book, but I still really loved it. However, this third book was just everything that was happening. I was just side-eyeing it. I just something about it was just very off. So yeah, I gave that one 2 stars. It was a pretty big disappointment for me. And then I was listening to the audiobook of All the Blues of the Sky. I believe that's the title. And this is a middle grade book that is written in verse, and it's all about our main character whose best friend ended up passing away. And it's all about her grieving and coming to terms with what happened. And it was just a very beautiful, well-written book, and I loved the themes of it. I loved seeing our main character get to explore her emotions and make new friends, and just everything was just really sweet and really beautiful. It was a very sad read, but I really enjoyed it, and I gave that one 4 stars. And then I also listened to The Dead Cattail Assassins, and this one was fine. I gave it 3 stars. I think it was really well written, well done. The premise was very interesting. It's about our main character who is an assassin, and she ends up getting this job that sort of creates problems to where she has to break one of the 3 rules of being an assassin. And I don't want to spoil anything. It is a very short book, but I really enjoyed the premise of it. However, nothing about this book really wowed me, so it was 3 stars. I'm glad to have read it. It was a very fun, quick read, but I do think it is one that I will probably forget. So yeah, I read those 3 books. I am also on the ARC team for Notting Hill, so this is an ebook that I was sent by the author. So I do have another ebook on my TBR, but that is fine. And then I did DNF Love on the Highlight Reel, which I didn't know that I had 2 copies of this, but I had an audiobook and an ebook of that, and I ended up DNFing that one because it was a workplace romance, but the way they were interacting with each other from the very beginning of the book was very unprofessional and just kind of weird. There's one sentence that after I heard that in the audiobook, I was kind of all right, I'm done. But yeah, I did DNF that. That got 2 books off of my TBR. So I am making good progress. I have finished 3 books. I DNF'd 1. So that's very good progress, I would say. And yeah, that is it for this update. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Hello, I am updating once again before I go to work. That is oh so common with me, but I have finished another book, and that is Beyond Policing. This was one of the physical books that I was reading, so I'm glad to be making some actual progress on my physical TBR, but this book was really great. I'm going to give it, I think, 4.5 stars. I'm not really sure where I land with that yet, but I really enjoyed this book. If you've been following along with my feminist read series, you will have seen that abolition is a topic that I have been exploring a lot in that series, and this book talks all about that. It's a whole book all about abolition and how, like, the history of policing began, where it's currently at, different things, and like programs, community programs that are being developed and executed in society and in the US to replace policing. And it talks about all of this. It talks about the future, and it was just a very hopeful book. The beginning of it is obviously very fact heavy, a lot of history facts, all of that, which I really enjoy in my nonfiction, and then the latter half of the book was just very hopeful, where the author is imagining the future and all of these different programs and how they can be expanded upon. And yeah, the ending was really hopeful. I really enjoyed this book. Definitely a great one that I would really recommend if this is a topic that you are interested in, or if you don't know a lot about it, this is one that I would really recommend picking up. But moving on, today is the last day of this vlog. Tomorrow I'm off, so that's probably when I will do a wrap up of this week, but I'm not really sure how my time at work is going to go. I don't really think I'll have that much time to listen to an audiobook today, so I don't really see myself finishing anything else. However, I do want to, before I go to work and everything, I do want to start my ebook project that I'm going to be working on, and I've mentioned it I think a couple of times, but I want to do a video where I read the first chapter of all of my owned ebooks, which is currently at 118, but I want to read the first chapter of all of these books. That way I can see if I want to DNF them or actually continue with them, because a lot of the ebooks, as maybe you might be tired of me saying, but a lot of these ebooks I've had for like 5 years now, and they're just ones that I've accumulated because maybe they were free on Amazon, or from all of the times I've just requested random books on NetGalley just because I could. So yeah, my goal is to make an entire video all about me reading the first chapter of all of these ebooks, but I will have the next 3 days off from work, and then that fourth day I'm only working like half a day, so I have quite a few days to dedicate to this project, and that's sort of what I want to do. Is I want to really heavily focus on reading all of the first chapters. That way I can make the whole video about it, and I am really hoping that it helps me make a big dent in my ebook TBR, especially because ebooks are not my first choice of format for reading. I much prefer to read physically or audio. I just don't like looking at screens very much to read, but that's my personal preference. But my ebooks are actually the only one of the formats that I am up from the beginning of the year instead of actually making progress to read them down. So yeah, it's gonna be a big focus of mine, but I'll probably talk about it a lot more in the next vlog. But I did want to mention that that video will be coming up, and yeah, that is going to be my reading plans. And yeah, that is it for this clip. I will be back with my final wrap up tomorrow. I'm here to wrap up this vlog and tell you my final numbers. I did not manage to finish any books last night, which I expected and I talked about in the last clip, but yes, I did manage to read 4 books off of my TBR this week, and I did DNF one, which I technically have 2 copies of, so that got another 2 books off of my TBR. So the numbers for this week are down by 6, and then I did receive 1 book, so really my numbers are down by 5, but let's break it down. Let's get into it a little bit more. So after this week, my total number of books on my TBR is 332, which is down by 9 from the beginning of the year, making great progress in my opinion. And to break that down into the specific format, it's 118 ebooks, which again is up by 1. Audiobooks is at 112, which is down by 6. And for my physical books, I'm at 102, which is down by 4. And also, like I mentioned in the last clip, I am going to be going through and sort of purging through all of my owned ebooks. I'm going to be doing a try a chapter sort of challenge, and I'm really hoping to get a lot of those books off my TBR by doing it this way, because so many of these books I've had for so long and I've never really gone through them and got rid of the ones that I'm not still interested in. So I'm really hoping that in the next vlog, you see those ebook numbers very, very low compared to how it currently is. And yeah, those are my plans for next week, and I will see you all in that video. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment whatever you feel like commenting, and I will see you in the next vlog next week. Bye!